Do you remember me saying to you guys, can we just work? Can we just go to work? You were full of story.
I couldn't agree with you more. And
no, but you didn't. You didn't at the time. You just kept on bullshitting.
No.
Welcome, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today we are going back to New York at the turn of the millennium with three fantastic guests from Spin City. And now let's head down to City Hall and see who we find. Our first guest is an actor whose credits include Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Star Trek Generations, and recently on the acclaimed series Succession. Today joins us as the salacious Chief of Staff, Stuart Bondek. Please welcome Alan Ruck.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, boss?
I'm good. I'm just, holding down my little piece of earth in New Jersey here. Yeah.
Up there in Jersey, huh?
Yeah. I don't have the accent down yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. Absolutely fair. So, I know we're here to talk about Spin City, but while I got you for a few brief seconds, thank you for your service to the Federation as you are a canonical captain of the Enterprise and deserve all credit that is due for that.
Yeah, it's still hard to believe after all these years, because, when I look in the mirror every morning and wash my face, the first thing that does not pop to mind is Starship Commander. But it happened. It's true. It was a thing that happened in time.
It certainly was. Very glad for that, as well as tremendous other things in your body of work. Been a fan of yours for a long time. I was the one that sent in the question about Hard Knocks when you and Barry joined us last summer. So that tells you how deep my well goes. And that's
1983, I think.
Yeah. When we were both young.
Well, when you were a fetus.
I may surprise you. But Alan, absolutely glad to have you here. Glad to see you in good spirit and in good health. And Succession, what a knockout.
Yeah, they're the best writers I've ever worked with, bar none, really, and a really classy group of actors and wonderful directors. So I'm a lucky fella.
We're lucky to have you here. Thanks again for joining us, boss.
Sure.
And speaking of lucky, he is an award-winning actor whose credits include Gotham, Mad About You, and several Pixar films, including A Bug's Life. Today joins us to discuss the role of the devious press secretary, Paul Lassiter. Please welcome the always awesome Richard Kind.
Yay! How are you? Oh my gosh, I don't remember him being that old. Wow. Oh my God, he's aged terribly.
Oh, Richard, how are you?
I'm good, Patty. How you doing? Alan, my love to you.
Hey, you look swell. Look, we have the same glasses, I think.
I know. Well, look, I got glasses all over the room. I have them in the corners of couches, behind my bed. Oh my God, all over.
I just got the square ones. Anyway, Richard, again, you have a tremendous body of work. Been a fan of yours for so long. The one that sticks out recently, though, I have to admit, I adore your character on Big Mouth. I really do.
I ride the coattails of geniuses every once in a while, and it just cracks me up. In fact, I did 3 episodes yesterday, and they're hilarious. These guys are as tasteless and funny, and it's just makes me laugh.
It's always like people say, like, okay, here's Andrew. Are we gonna get his dad? Yes, Andrew.
Very much. Yep, very lucky.
And again, since we are a Comic-Con and comics are part of our DNA, I got to give you praise for Gotham as well.
You got Gotham, you got Stargate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them. So yes, I've been lucky in that world because when I'm on it, I don't understand anything that's going on. In Gotham, everybody wore the tightest pants and the most slender jackets in the world. And I'm just not built for that. And it was a different world for me. It's neat and dark, and it was great. I know. I am, Alan, listen to this. You're Starfleet commander. I'm the mayor of Gotham City. Isn't that nuts? The mayor of Gotham City.
All you got to do is stick around long enough.
Around long enough. Who knows? I might be Queen of England.
Eventually get hooked onto a fandom. And speaking of guys who are hooked onto many fandoms, he is a Tony and Golden Globe winning actor and occasional clockmaker, whose credits include the original cast production of Grease, Fantastic Planet, Megaforce, and an adorable little film called The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Today he joins us to discuss the role of befuddled Mayor Randall Winston. Please welcome back one of GalaxyCon's favorite guests, Barry Bostwick.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Get him, icon.
We haven't seen each other in quite a while, have we? I mean, no. But we all have facial hair. Why is that? Are we hiding chins? What are we hiding?
Yeah, I have that shit right here. Those little bags.
It's thundering. It just sort of hides the 4 chins.
Yeah, multiple sins. It's good for disguising multiple sins.
Yeah, well, it makes me feel comfortable to have this as a sort of a disguise,
Yeah.
Well, Barry, first of all, how are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I've just been quarantining in Montreal for 2 weeks, and I realized why I got married in the first place. I need company. I need somebody to cook for me and do other things for me. I'm a useless piece of crap, and I started out by cooking for myself every night, and then every day it just got worse and worse and worse. And finally, last night I had spaghetti. That's what happens. You end up, I started out with, chicken cordon bleu that I'm making from scratch and end up with spaghetti. My life is spaghetti.
And now I can cook for you because I've been cooking for my 3 kids for years now. And I really am pretty good. I used to be a cook. Now I'm creatively cooking because of children. Yes.
Oh my God, that's wonderful. What's your favorite dish?
In COVID, when you have nothing to do, all right, so you take an hour and a half and you really cook and you make them in the kitchen and then you have them clean it up and they refuse and then you end up being a cleaner as well.
Yeah. What is your favorite dish that you make them?
I make a great butter chicken. I make a phenomenal spaghetti sauce.
From scratch?
Peanut butter chicken. I make a good sausage and peppers and I do all sorts of stuff. Carrot soup. Yes. Oh no, I'm creative. Have you ever used an Instapot?
No.
Is that like a crock pot?
It's like a crock pot, but it's a steam cooker and it does it quickly. Patty's nodding.
Yeah. My housemates have one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. It's the best thing I've ever bought. And they say air fryers are good, although I don't have one. But Instapots are fantastic. You just shove it in there, and 20 minutes later, it's finished, and it's delicious. Really good. Very good.
Nice. So, Barry, you're writing this down?
Yeah, I am. Instapot.
Instapot.
They're actually very inexpensive. You should buy one now, and it's really good. It's really good.
So Barry, it is awesome to have you here, but this, of course, we talked many times over the year, but we could talk about Spin City now. We don't have to talk necessarily about high heels.
Right. I wore high heels once in Spin City, because the mayor every year does that drag thing. What was he? That thing with the press.
You requested it, Barry. Don't play like the writers imposed it.
You're right.
It'll be a meta joke,
Oh, I did all the stupid cliche things, falling off my heels and everything. It was tragic.
No, you are like an artesian well of bits. You are an unstoppable source of business.
It's true. That's true.
Very much so.
Well, gentlemen, that almost got me fired from Spin City in the first season. I always wanted to come up with bits, and Michael, as you know, Michael J. Fox, he didn't like to rehearse, right? I mean, he liked to just do it on the day. He just and I would always go, well, can I do this? Bring this in, blah blah blah. And finally, Gary David Goldberg, who was the producer of it, called me into his office. Have I ever told you this, Alan? No, he called me into this office and said, you know, you got to slow down. You're pissing Michael off, you know. And I think he says, you're like a racehorse, and we want you to be like a mule. You know, we want you to just show up and not be so coming up with all the crap, you know. And after that first year, I slowed up and went back, and because Michael didn't, I think he was somewhat put off by it. You know?
And you know who loved to rehearse is when I mean, because you're a theater person. Or
Yeah.
at least you were. Faith Prince was played my girlfriend and then wife on the show, and we would rehearse, and we got it down absolutely perfect. But then when Michael wasn't there, rehearsal for us was just what should have taken 20 minutes took 90 because we're just screwing around and making each other laugh. And I got this story, and we just laughed and laughed and laughed. It was we could have gone home by 11:30 in the morning. Well,
we could have, you know, and that pissed me off. I mean, I don't know. Do you remember me saying to you guys, "Can we just work? Can we just go to work?"
Barry, I couldn't agree with you more.
No, but you didn't. You didn't at the time. You just kept on bullshitting.
No.
Okay. First week, it's like the first week. We did the pilot. Now we're in New York. And we're doing the show, and we do something, and the writers go away. And the writers are taking a long time to do some rewrites. And it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And we getting to know each other, and everybody's telling a story. Richard tells a funny story, you know, and then Sandy Gaberman tells, I called him Gaberman. Chaplin tells a funny story, and, you know, like this. And then Bostwick gets really quiet, and he says, "This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I don't need to know any of you people better than I do right fucking now." I mean, you know, he's just like not having it. He's like not having it. Like, no,
I didn't have it. For 6 years, I fucking didn't have it. Excuse me.
I will tell you this. This is my favorite story about Barry. Because Barry is a man whose heart meets you more than halfway. He comes to you. He's a gentle and great man. We had done the pilot, and he was, and we got picked up. I hadn't seen him. He's driving down Melrose Avenue, and he sees me walking, and he's driving, and I see him, and he's waving, and he pulls to the corner. He gets out of the car, and he runs to me to hug me that we got picked up. And I will always remember that. I don't even know whether he remembers that, but I will always remember that. And I think it was an old blue car. Did you used to have an old, like what looked like a Cadillac Seville or something? Or did you, it could be in my mind. The whole thing, knowing you, Barry, could all be in my mind. But
you could, yeah.
But here's a man who's 6'4", so that means his arms are like an eagle. They're 6'4", and he's running down the street like, you know.
Knocking people down.
Yeah.
Clotheslining old ladies.
Richard, thank you. I remember that. You know,
yes.
And
it was my chance.
I think this original cast in this was so wonderful, you know, and so deep and so talented. And then there were the girls. You know, who were always complaining. They were always complaining and always wanted more. But they didn't realize that you guys were the funny part. You know, you had the. I
don't know whether I can entirely jump onto that bandwagon. What I do remember is telling Connie Britton that whatever they give you, embrace it and make it 110%, because you never know if that will inform your character or their writing. Because remember, my character was this guy, but they gave one joke as being cheap, and it hit. And all of a sudden, and I'm not thrilled about this, but episode after episode included cheap jokes. Sometimes it was my through line. So you never know. And I can tell you, for those of you who are here who are actors, embrace it. You never know where that kernel will lie. And
Yes.
And rather than do that, Connie used to say, why are they making me do this? Why are they making me do this? And she was great at all of it. So I can't agree with Barry. Well, for the sake of my neck, I can't agree because
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they weren't. I'm not saying they weren't good. I'm just saying that they weren't written for, and so because they're intelligent, talented women, they were frustrated. I think most of the time.
So they gave the jokes to us stupid guys, which is
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
They wrote dumb for us, for a lot of us. Although Alan, they wrote cynical.
Right.
So they went dark.
You know what? The stuff that they wrote for me wouldn't fly today. Not with the hashtag Me Too.
Absolutely right, Alan.
It wouldn't fly.
Absolutely right. So two of you are in trouble.
But yet, though, Alan's character pierced a barrier. He showed that hetero men and homosexual men, could be friends, could cohabitate, and there was no tension or anything else. And up until then, there was always social anxiety about that sort of thing. And that is still looked upon as being a significant leveling up in societal awareness about that.
That's very true, because I never looked at it as, look at this gay man living with this straight man. I didn't even look at it as white man living with black man. I looked at two very different personalities. And that could be my liberalism, but I never looked at it like that. But you're absolutely right. That's very true.
Alan, did they ever come to you and say, would you like this to be where the story goes?
No, nobody ever asks me that. Nobody ever asks me that.
And they continue not to. They go, here, dancing monkey, do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna have shoulder surgery on Monday, and they're incorporating it into Succession, and I pitched the idea that I tried something a little too sexually adventurous with my girlfriend, and it was beyond my skill set, and they like you, they all laughed at it. They thought that was a good joke, but that's not what they're using. They wrote something else entirely. Right. So it doesn't matter what the fuck I think. And I've known this for years.
I will tell you.
I don't know why I keep trying.
You want to know how to get your voice heard? Do independent movies for not a lot of money, and they gotta listen to you. They listen to you. You change the lines sometimes. You say, no, I think the character should go this way, and that will, and you can have a little bit of control that way. Not necessarily with the story, but every once in a while in the story. But a lot of times you're dealing with first-time directors or neophyte writers, and you can have a little bit of editorial control.
Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
You can't get out of it, Alan.
You're on an HBO hit.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're kind of locked in right now.
We're clawing for our supper. I got kids to feed.
You're locked in at HBO. Richard's got a Netflix series, and Barry's always working on something. Always.
Yeah,
he's got Netflix too.
I'm on Netflix also at the moment. Yeah. Well,
so let me ask you this, gentlemen, before we go to our audience questions, which is what's the best memory that you've taken away from your Spin City experience?
You know what? This that we made friends for life. Yeah, we absolutely made friends for life on that show. And
the four of us and Sandy we're all friends for life.
And Boatman, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I meant, because Bodie.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean, Bodie's going to be here tomorrow, or he's going to be doing his one-on-ones tomorrow.
He'll do his chats tomorrow. Yeah.
It's also good. You didn't. Barry had it. Alan and I had it to a degree, but when you get to act with people who are better than you,
right?
It's like playing tennis with a better tennis player. You rise to their level.
That's right.
We would challenge each other because we were good. We went into this business thinking we were good, and we got to prove it. And we got to be with others who are great.
We were lucky to have Fox for a star because he's a smart guy, and he knew that us being funny in a scene only made the show that much better. There are horror stories of sitcom stars who, if they're on camera, they have to have all the jokes, right? And we all know some of these people. And he wanted us to be funny because he knew that it would make the show stronger. So we were fortunate in that way.
Yeah. Well, the only problem is that he got all the pretty girls.
Always. There was one season where he dated every girl that had been unnumbered. Every girl.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, Richard, who was your mother in this?
My mother, they wanted Angie Dickinson. They ended up with Raquel Welch. That's hilarious.
It's wonderful. It was the best.
Hilarious.
It was the best.
Yeah,
my mom's a smoking hottie.
Do you remember the line I said where she exited the bullpen and they didn't yell cut? And I looked down the hall and I got, I had a poster on my wall of her when I was a kid. I'm always saying
that. Too much. All right, I think we're going to go to our audience questions. So what do you say? Let's roll over into that. Let's say our first one. This comes from Brian, who wants to know, what is your favorite character that you have played in your entire career?
I'll go first because it'll be quick. It's something that nobody has ever seen. I did a play in Chicago in 1984 called Billy Bishop Goes to War.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah, I did it with at the Old Wisdom Bridge Theater, Bob Fall's old theater before he went to the Good. Yeah, and I had a wonderful time. It's basically a one-man show. It's like one actor and a pianist who occasionally takes part in the skits, and that was one of the nicest times of my life.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bear.
Well, you got to say Danny Zuko in Grease.
Yeah.
Only because it was it sort of started my career, and I got to have sex with an awful lot of chorus girls in New York.
Ted Wass told me stories about you.
In the beginning, in the early 70s, that's what was all about,
Yes, it was Barry.
He told me about 2 girls between shows one time.
Who?
Ted Wass told me. He said you had 2 episodes between the matinee and the evening performance.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
I want to believe.
Okay, it's true. Did he give you a name? Did he give you any names?
No, he didn't know. He didn't know.
Okay,
I heard
good.
the 3 on Broadway were Barry, Harris Yulin, and Tony Roberts used to just plow through them. Just plow through the poor evening. Yeah. And I'm proud to know all 3.
Come on, you could do it then. It was 70, 71,
Yeah,
different time.
You were a real rapscallion, weren't you, Barry?
Yeah, I guess.
And I was and I never got laid in during it, but I was lucky enough to do a Tom Stoppard play called Travesties. And I think that was my favorite time working on a role and doing it. I only did it for 2 weeks did it for 3 weeks. The first week and a half, I didn't even understand what the ending meant because there was such a short time period to work on it. And so the more I did it, I all of a sudden go, oh my God, this is what it means. So I discovered it sort of in previews. And by the end, I was sobbing at the end of the show because it dawned on me what it all meant. And the unfortunate thing is, I think the second or third performance of the show, Tom Wolfe was in the front row, and he would have none of it. It was it's too tough to do in a 2.5 week rehearsal period. But as I kept doing it and working on it, it became, I don't know whether I was magnificent, but it became magnificent to me. So I guess it was.
Were you Henry Carr? Were you Henry? Yeah.
I was Carr. And it's also a role, let me put it this way. You wouldn't cast me in it, and it opened on Broadway in a revival. I think it was Tom Huddleston or one of those English actors. And Tom Stoppard came to the opening night. and I was at the opening night, and I went up to him, and I'm such a huge fan of Stoppard, and I went up to him, and I told him, and then I said, and I've done about 4 of your plays, and I actually played Henry Carr in Travesties, and he looked at me like, who the fuck are you? Are you were Henry? I mean, as if this horned beast had played Henry Carr, which I don't, the way I talk, the way I look, I am not an obvious choice. But the director, who had directed the play about 6 times, although he directed in Ireland, everything like that, really wanted it funny. And the guy, it is a funny play, but it's very serious as well. But he really wanted a clown. And I saw that. I saw what he wanted. And so I added that when it was needed. And he just couldn't believe it.
Now, when you guys were on Broadway together, what was that like? Because that was after Spin City.
Alan was getting laid all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering.
It didn't matter who, because I often wore a blindfold. It's more exciting that way. You never know what you're going to get, and it's just it's better that way.
We loved it. We loved it.
I had been on the road for almost like a year with that thing, and then
tell us what that thing is.
It was the producers. I actually dyed my hair. This is how long ago is this? This is a long time ago. It's like
got to be 15 years.
It got to be 15 years more. Yeah.
Yes, I must have been
more
about
than that, like 17 years. It was like 17 years ago.
No, because maybe the twins weren't born at the time.
I think
that they were. Yeah, it
sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Oh, it was great. It was great. But I got to do, he did it.
Richard can actually really sing, and I actually I have messed up vocal cords. I got sick 20 years ago and I was intubated, and when I was a kid I could sing, but I got intubated and it stretched my vocal cords. I found this out on the road.
Wow.
And so I could never hit this high note. There's this very sort of like a love song from Leo to Max at the end of the play, and I could never hit the high note, and I kept trying, and everybody's like, oh, don't, just keep it
Just
lower, octave lower.
Rex Harrison.
Yeah. Just don't worry about it. Don't. But Richard can actually sing, so and Richard was like, plant your feet and put your arms out and go for it, and then I would just stop. It was so horrible.
Oh, wow. Brian, thank you. That was an awesome question to start us off with. What is next? Here's one from Andre. Who were some of your favorite guest stars?
I can name some that are famous that we didn't know at the time. Nate Fillion was on the show. I think the very first episode was either Jennifer Garner.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah, she played Sandy Chaplin's girlfriend, and she's a farm girl. Yeah.
We had J.K. Simmons, who was on Broadway in Guys and Dolls at the time, and we got to be friends that week. And who knew that he was as good as he is? Who else did we have? We had a lot of people. John McEnroe. We had Donald Trump. We had
Colbert was on the show.
Colbert was on the show. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Asif Manvi was on the show. We had a lot of great people.
That was because I think Mike had a relationship with all these people. If it wasn't Mike's show, you wouldn't have gotten all these people to do it.
No, I don't agree with that, Barry, because what we got the best of New York talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, Philip Bosco, who was at one time, he was my favorite actor in the world.
Yeah.
And we got Philip Bosco. I used to see him in every show he did. I think 2 or 3 time Tony winner. We got Kathleen Chalfant.
There weren't a lot of shows shooting in New York. We were like the only sitcom for sure in New York.
Yes, for sure. And then there was the Law and Orders. But we got, it was like Law and Order. Everybody who was an actor in New York was guesting on our show.
Yeah.
And so we got the cream of, even if they weren't famous at the time. They soon became famous. And yes, the guests, the Christopher Lloyds and the Woody Harrelson or George Wendt. We got those because of what he said. I mean, what Barry said. But we actually got some pretty great talent because they were the best that New York had to offer.
My one of my favorites was Farrah Fawcett, and only because when I was a young man in New York, just starting out, I remember being at Bloomingdale's, following this beautiful blonde around the store, and I remember I found some way. She wasn't Farrah Fawcett at the time. She was just this beautiful blonde. And I remember going up, following her into the women's department and finding some reason to say to her, like, do you think this would fit a girl who's 5'7", you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was just agog with her beauty. And then finally, how many years later, 30-something years later, she plays my girlfriend in Spin City for, what, 2 or 3 episodes or something?
It was at least 2 or 3, yeah.
I never mentioned to her the fact that I dogged her around Bloomingdale.
Why not?
I don't know.
I have something to add to this story. She was a little bit difficult during her guest star. She was, may she rest in peace, she was a little bit difficult. Charlie Sheen sent away to some place in Washington, D.C., and he bought a Purple Heart, which he presented to Barry Bostwick.
But he also presented a Purple
being wounded in battle.
He presented a Purple Heart to me as well.
Did you get one?
Because of Raquel.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. But yeah.
Wait, what? Well, no. What was that Mike's time? That could have been Mike's time too. I don't know, but Raquel was equally as difficult. She was really difficult to the people behind the scenes. And do you remember there was a woman whose job it was to carry a mirror behind her at all times so she could always check herself.
Oh my God. Well, I just remember Farrah being so sweet and just being, and she did her job and everything was fine. It's just that she was confused a lot of the time, you know. But she was one of the few people on that show that I got an autograph from and autographed a picture, you know.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So I've got that. I've got my picture with all these dead actresses on the wall, you know, and she's.
It looks like a dry cleaner for dead people.
Yes. That's a short story, right there.
Well, Barry, you got to do a scene with Heidi Klum. I'm envious for that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, a lot of us did. We all did. She was on the show for about 5 or 6 episodes.
Oh God, she was beautiful, and she was good too. She was good. But you know who was? Go on. Go on.
Who was married to Mark Wahlberg or had like 6 of his kids? Ray somebody.
Ray John Chung.
No. Beautiful model. Beautiful. She played a girl who was. I was like, not an uncle, but like. I helped raise her. I knew her since she was a little girl, and she had a crush on me. And it was look up Mark Wahlberg.
Kimberly Faye?
No.
Okay.
No, Patty, why are you even opening your mouth?
I looked up Wahlberg's ex-wife. First thing I came up was Kimberly Faye and a very beautiful girl.
I'll look it up.
Well, maybe he's got, you know.
I'll look it up.
I've been married a couple of times.
Okay,
but that was what made
favorites. Nobody asked me a damn thing. I don't have any favorites. I don't like anybody.
Oh, come on, Alan. You had some. Did anybody play your mother or brothers or sisters or anything? No, you didn't.
No.
You didn't have any relatives on this.
No, because I think they all would have been hideous.
Who's that? Rhea Durham.
Too much reflection, babe.
Rhea Durham.
Oh.
Go look at her. She's stunning. Oh my God.
That's nice.
Rhea Durham. She's an American model.
And who did she, I have people coming up to me and saying, you know, I was on Spin City. I was the second reporter, you know, and now there's like big stars. And
oh, beautiful girl.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh, she's stunning. She's had 4 kids with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh. Wow.
And that's not the best picture of her. She's stunning.
Why don't you put her picture up and take us off, and it'll be a better show.
Yeah.
You'll get more viewers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Alan, who are your favorite guest stars of the show?
I don't have.
You'll like anybody. Yeah, all right.
Come on, you like Donald Trump. Were you in the Donald Trump scene?
No, I was never. You know who I liked? I liked Ed Koch.
Oh, Ed Koch was great.
Ed Koch. And I was never a New Yorker when he was mayor, but I always got a big kick out of seeing him on the news. You know? And he really enjoyed being on our show. I really enjoyed meeting him.
He kept on saying to me, "Hey, can you get me in another episode?" He just wanted to be a regular.
He enjoyed it. Yeah.
We had a few. Did we have Roger Clemens? Was he on our show?
Yeah. I have a signed baseball from him.
Clemens, yes. No, that's the interesting thing is Clemens was on. Everybody brought in a baseball that day, and he signed everyone.
He did. And I got a hat too. Yeah.
Yeah. He signed every single one. Oh yeah, a few of them. George Stephanopoulos.
Oh yeah.
Like he really was good friends with Michael, and now he's a friend of mine. But we first worked like that, and he would start talking to me like about Walter Cronkite, and it was very funny. It was very, very funny.
I did a pilot once with Terry Bradshaw. I liked him.
Okay.
Really?
Sure, you had more hair than he did. Okay.
Nice. Andre, thank you. That was a fun one. And let's go ahead and do another one. And here's one from Casey. Who is the biggest prankster on the set?
I don't remember there being a real prankster. Was there? If anybody, it was Richard Kind. No, maybe it was Sandy, because Sandy had that kind of percent.
Yeah, we didn't.
He would get in trouble. He would make bad bets with the crew. Like there was a very good dolly grip named Brad Goss. He was a wonderful guy, and we had a ping pong table in the green room.
Yeah.
And, Sandy was very fast. He's very athletic, and he's like, Brad, if you beat me at ping pong, I will put on a diaper and sing On the Good Ship Lollipop. And Brad smoked his ass on the ping pong table, and Sandy was true to his word, and they put a baby bonnet on him like Baby Huey and a big giant diaper, and he sang On the Good Ship Lollipop, and he's a good tap dancer, and danced, and they filmed it.
Oh
so I would say Sandy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. He certainly had the most devious sense of humor, but I don't know whether there were pranks.
He's dark.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
I just remember the time they're talking about singing and Sandy. He sang Danny Boy once in an episode. Brought tears to your eyes. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. I swear I was thinking the same thing. I was
really?
There was something about Danny Boy, and I don't know. I couldn't remember what it was, but I do remember. Yeah, that was something. Yeah.
Fair. All right, Casey, thank you. Good one. What's next? And here's one from Evil Regal. Which actor do you wish you had worked with more?
Ian McKellen.
Wow.
City. No, I'm kidding. Oh, you mean Spin City? Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. You can pick any facet of your career.
I never had scenes with Barry. Barry and I are such good friends. I don't remember having any scenes with Barry. I had a great scene with Richard, and they didn't kind of know what to do with me at first. They didn't develop the pervert thing right away. And there was this one episode where Richard's going on a date. I mean, Paul, the character's going on a date for the first time in 3 years. He hasn't had sex in 3 years, and he's worried that he's going to be a little rusty, right? And he's talking with, I can't remember who, if it was Michael or if it was Barry, in the press room. And he comes out of the press room door, and I'm standing there and I'm chewing gum, and I'm like, "How you doing, Rusty?" And then Richard turns around and says, were you listening? Did you hear anything? And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear anything." And as he walks away, I go, "Oh, okay." And it was the first time I got huge laughs in front of the audience. And Michael J. Fox came to me as the cameras are moving down to another, set. He came up to me and he said, "I am so happy for you." Because they found me. They found who Stuart was.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'll be honest. I'm going to say something that's sort of interesting. The show, the structure of the show was usually 3 parts. Michael had a storyline. Then there were 2 other people. And a lot of times, and you guys wouldn't recognize this because you were usually in the second or the first storyline, but I had a lot of the third storylines. It's either me and Faith, or just little things. They were sort of like, if you were going to have a blackout in let's say a review, mine were sort of the blackout. Now, it's going to sound like these are sour grapes. I swear it's not. But because Michael was in the first stuff so much, and I was pretty much in the second and mainly in the third, I didn't work with Michael as much as I might have. Certainly, we worked together in the scenes where we were in his office, and that usually started off the show and introduced the problems that were going to happen. But as it went on, as the show, that half hour went on, I did not work with Michael as much as I might have. And I also have to say, and this is sort of funny, that Michael has a sense of timing that is very, he pulls you in. He's brilliant at what he does, and he could take his time. And I appreciate that. And there were times when I would like to match that kind of timing. But when you're editing, they determine your timing. They're not going to cut away from Michael. He's going to pull it. If I tried the same thing, snip, snip, let's go, let's move it. And so I couldn't do that. And so that was, so when I'm working with Michael, I just had to do something else.
That's why you like doing plays so much, because you're
true.
That's
I'm
true.
Expand. I can tell the audience, I got you. You're in my hands. This
Right.
is what I'm going to do with you.
Yeah.
And I'm the leader. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. I am not at the mercy of, we were also at the mercy of 22 minutes and 46 seconds. And when you have this kind of talent that you're looking at now, Gary, most writers or producers would go, oh, the script is great. Gary used to say, this show came in at 36 minutes. I got it down to 22. Boy, that was what he was very, very proud about sometimes. That
it was always overwritten, wasn't it? It was always
very, very overwritten, too much talent, and the pages were too long, and the writers were too good.
That's the situation I'm in now with Succession. It's the writers are so good they can't help themselves.
Right.
You know,
right.
and there's just it's just
But does HBO limit you to, you must come in at 47 minutes?
Well, I think it's
54.
55 minutes, I think. Yep.
55 minutes is a lot of time.
Yeah.
So a lot of times
the script we have now is 75 pages. So
Wow.
right.
yeah.
Yep.
I know in previous HBO shows there was wiggle room. I know in the Sopranos Deadwood days, sometimes they come in at 49, sometimes 57. They did give them
With
that
Luck,
sort of leeway.
with the show I did called Luck, I mean, it was that way. However, I know for a fact, Breaking Bad was always 47 minutes and I think 23 or 26 seconds. The reason why I know is because I was doing a play, and with intermission, and then when I came on in the second act, I always had like an hour, and I would watch an episode of Breaking Bad on a disc every single day, during every performance, and it would always be 47 minutes, 23 seconds, something like that.
Oh, God.
So they really did keep it to that, and that had no commercials at the time.
No.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, pretty good. So, Barry, bring us home. Who do you wish you could have had more scene time with?
Me, say me.
Yeah, I mean, I probably, I would say the 2 guys that are to my left, right, whatever. They,
No, I don't know where we are.
Alan, because Alan said we never really had any scenes together.
Not really.
Actually, I wish I had more scenes with the dog. That dog was brilliant. What was the dog's name?
Meatloaf with teeth.
No, he actually had a name, right?
Rags.
Rags.
Yeah.
Rags was the funniest human being, animal in the world.
Until we went to L.A., because remember that lady that owned Rags in New York, she wanted a bump in salary when the show moved to California. She wanted a bump in salary. She wanted first-class airfare to and from, And they said no, and they found an LA version of Rags that was way too pretty, had like really long hair, and the teeth were fixed, and it was not the same thing. It was like, no.
Yeah. And I thought the dialogue that they gave Rags was just brilliant. Brilliant. When he was standing on the edge of the window, and I think they said, "I just want to jump" or something, whatever the line was.
I'm coming home, Mom.
I'm coming home, Mom. Right. And he was going towards the thing on the side of the wall, and
the electric socket.
Yeah, and he wanted
he'd be licking it.
Yeah, he wanted to electrocute himself. Yeah. I'm
gonna say something, because that brings up something that's really interesting about this show, is that it started to get a little bit into surreal every once in a while. And Bill went from Spin City to Scrubs, which went absolutely not only surreal, but was short chapters that added up to one story. And I believe that Spin City was the start of that. And I think it's the first show that did. I think later on, as Tina Fey began to write, she borrowed from what Bill Lawrence had started to create with Spin City, was able to totally create with Scrubs. And now many shows do it. But I think Bill Lawrence was truly the brains behind that format. And I think it started at Spin City. And maybe because of Gary's conservatism with how a show should be run or what it should look like, he wasn't totally able to do it, but he did have an effect, and it started to. I mean, like I said, I was in the third story of everything, and they were told in half a page chapters. If it was an episode with so many pages, that scene would be literally half a page. It could be 3 lines. And that's how the story evolved, and that's Bill. That's really Bill.
Yeah. There you go. Evil Regal, thank you, gentlemen. This has been an absolute delight. Any final words for our audience before we go?
Just thanks for asking us to come here, because I haven't seen these guys, and it's fun to hang out.
Yeah. And to be honest, I once waited on tables on Mary Tyler Moore. Back when I was a waiter. And I had seen every episode of Mary Tyler Moore, every episode of Dick Van Dyke. And I said, how about this? How about that? She remembered nothing. And I go, how can that be? How can you not? This was and I'm reminded of these things. I don't remember them. And I don't know whether it's my feeble brain or it's just, we did 160 of these. Is that how many we did? I don't know. So I don't remember as many as those of you who watch it. I guess being in it is not as cemented as the picture paints 1,000 words.
Well, I haven't watched it since we did it. I haven't seen it.
And I didn't watch it then. I never watched it. I never looked on TV. I would watch it live. And actually it was you guys talking, so I really wasn't listening.
Have you said anything in the last 45 minutes, Richard, that was worth anything? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
It was all true, though. It was all true.
He told me to shut up.
I'm going to forget it in 10 minutes if I did. Yeah.
I hope we have another time to reminisce and to get together and to talk to the fans, because it's always fun for me, because I'm like you, Richard. I don't remember a damn thing from that period. And you always remind me of how much fun it was.
Okay, you want to know something? We had a blast. We had a blast being with each other. We could make each other laugh. We really could. And then Barry would just stand up and say, "Enough of this. I don't want you people in
this is bullshit."
I would. It's bullshit. Come on, let's just rehearse.
Right. Gentlemen, this has been my absolute pleasure to serve you all today. Once again, thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you for your great questions. Hope to see you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, everyone. Take care, and please keep washing those hands.
Thanks, Patty.
Thanks, Patty. Yeah.